Mrparka here with a new video segment I'm going to start. It's basically going to be recent watches. This will include movies I just watched for the first time or movies I'm rewatching again. I have my collection showings, my updates, my reviews. This is just going to be a rundown of the movies I watched recently. Right now I have 5. I'll probably do them in segments of 5 or 10 depending. Let's hop right in here so I can give a little in-depth opinion what I think of these movies, because you guys see my updates and a lot of these movies I haven't watched, so I figured I'd come back and now I can actually talk about the movies more. First one is Deadgirl, unrated director's cut. This movie, I must say, I talked about it a bit, but I was actually pretty impressed with it. It's a bit slow at first, and it seems maybe it might lose some audience people, but it didn't lose me, and I stayed and stuck through it, and the end was a payoff, and I really did like it. The music in the movie is really well made, the shots are really good, the acting's alright, and I think it might be hurt a little bit by the dialogue and the characters in the script, because they're not as natural as they should be, if you ask me. It's a little bit unnatural, which can be quite distracting sometimes. But all in all, I really did enjoy the film. It is very disgusting. It's kind of an original zombie movie. It's a bit more disgusting than disturbing, but some of the ideas are disturbing about human nature. The next one I rewatched, is I got this Hammer House of Horrors, and I rewatched one of these in here. I seen a long time ago as a kid. It was The Silent Scream. I doubt there's any difference about the disc. There's nothing. They're all the same. But I watched The Silent Scream with my man Peter Cushing in it, and it's the basic story of this guy who gets released from prison, Brian Cox, looking very young, very strange. I completely forgot it was him. And this guy Peter Cushing visited him in jail, and he helped him out. And Brian Cox gets released, and he comes and he thanks him. He works in a pet shop. Come to find out, Peter Cushing offers him a job. And in the back, Peter Cushing got all these erotic pets and shit, like tigers and panthers and bears. And he keeps them fenced in through electricity. And basically, when it comes to it, you find out that Peter Cushing is like an ex-Nazi who enjoys torturing people. And Brian Cox was a prisoner, and he hates being in bars. So he captures Brian Cox in bars and tries to teach him to stay in bars. It's actually really good stuff. I mean, it's very sadistic, and it has a good ending, Tales from the Crypt-esque, you know, those type of things, just desserts and everything. The ending's pretty sad, actually. Not sad, but just kind of deranged. The next one is Hammer House of Horrors. I watched The Curse of the Werewolf with Oliver Reed. Unfortunately, Oliver Reed only comes in at the second part of the movie, the second half. He comes in for the last 45 minutes as his first starring role. And Oliver Reed does really well. He's really enjoyable. The whole movie is actually pretty decent, but it has some dragging parts. Half the movie's backstory, not much werewolf action, but all in all, the film's actually pretty good. More of like a tragedy, really, than an actual werewolf story. But I really enjoyed it. Oliver Reed does a very good job. The next one I watched, basically was yelled at to watch this one. I watched my Ichi the Killer 2-disc blood pack. I watched the first disc, watched the movie. Really cool blood pack, but alright, I might be killed for this, but I thought the movie was alright. I didn't think it was that great. Then again, this is the first time I saw it, and the movie was made, in 2001, I believe? And the CGI had dated pretty badly. Like, and that really distracted me. That's why I have a main beef with CGI. But as the story goes, I thought the story was a bit flat, but it was very kind of contrived, and it beat around the bush a lot and was very strange. The story with Ichi was awesome. All that was cool. But the main story was just very default, and they kind of drug it out to make it very, very confusing. And the ending threw me off a lot. Not so much the surreal part. I kind of made sense of that. But at the very, very end, with spoiler, the main guy hung and not the main guy, but the one guy hung. It threw me off. I had to do some research to make sure my assumptions were correct or incorrect, and I was correct on some and incorrect about others. I was very confused. But throughout the movie, it has some great ideas, I loved a lot and I hated a lot, so it makes it pretty good for me. I definitely need to watch it again to grasp the whole concept of the movie, because a lot of it was good. The semen credits, of course, classic. The idea that he's like, no, I felt like raping her was insane, and stuff like that. He didn't like DVD Fiend says, and Eli Roth in The Thing says, he didn't restrain himself. He did what he wanted. He didn't care. It didn't matter to him. And I admire that, and I got a couple other films by him, and I might watch them, and I probably will rewatch this one just to make sure, because I know it's kind of like 10 million people can't be wrong. I must be wrong on something. It's got to be at least way better than I'm giving credit for it. I thought it was alright. I definitely need to watch it again. Don't crucify me. I'm not sure. I can't develop a final opinion on it. This one looks like it requires more viewings than that. This blood always scares me that it's going to leak everywhere. There we go. And then the last, somebody wanted me to watch this one, is the British horror movie Mom and Dad. You know, this movie was pretty short and sweet and to the point. Somebody said it was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff, and I could say it is kind of a rendition of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Britain by an airport, but it's different. I mean, the movie does have a climax at Christmas, which is nice. All in all, I enjoyed the film. It's a nice little watch. Some disturbing things, but pretty much the guy masturbates into some meat, some dead body parts, but all in all, I enjoyed the movie. It was pretty decent, solid horror movie, solid TM, the Crazy Family movie, which was decent. And Birdie really pissed me off. She was incredibly annoying, and you know, the heroine did what she had to do. She played along as much as she had to get, and I enjoyed that. I thought it was a pretty good movie, pretty realistic heroine, some cool ideas, all around pretty decent movie. All these, there we go through. I went through Deadgirl. Oh, I didn't even mention the story of Deadgirl. Basically, the story of Deadgirl goes as follows: people in Nut House find some dead body, some girl, and one guy starts basically screwing her, realizing later on she can't die. He brings other people to screw her. Things get out of hand. Pretty sickening, huh? I would give Deadgirl a watch for sure. All 5 of these are worth a watch. Silent Scream looked a little bit cheaper than I remembered, but still it was a television program made in the 80s by Hammer when they were closing out. So what do you want? All in all, I'd give all these a watch. They were all worth it. We got Deadgirl, then we have The Silent Scream, Curse of the Werewolf, Ichi the Killer, and Mom and Dad. They're all worth a watch. Try to fill me in on Ichi the Killer a little bit more, guys. Thank you for watching. Expect more of these recent watches. Have a good one. Bye.